So I made this I made this video earlier, but my laptop actually wasn't working properly, so all my audio was muffled. So I'm gonna reshoot this video. But pretty much, I'm gonna be watching Ciryl Gane's interview with Ariel Helwani. He did an interview a day ago, and he said some really delusional stuff about getting the next title shot, and pretty much came off like, entitled for the next title shot, which I really honestly I don't think Ciryl Gane deserves the next title shot. So, enough of me talking. Here's what he had to say about Tom Aspinall.
There, it seemed like he was interested. What do you think happens next?
I know a lot of people talk about Aspinall, but this doesn't make sense for me. Like every time with he did a really great job all of my career. You see, that's why he was really so fast. And now I just want to go to the belt.
I get what he's saying, but if you want to get to the belt, you're gonna have to beat Tom Aspinall. I think Sergey Pavlovich is the rightful number one contender at this point. I don't think that's a controversial take. He's done the most. It shouldn't even be Stipe, if we're being honest, on merit alone. It should be Sergey Pavlovich. He's on a 7-fight winning streak, I believe. Or 6, but all in the first round by vicious KOs. And on top of that, Curtis Blades is like a better win than anyone Gane's beat. Then he beat Derek Lewis, who Gane's beat as well, and then he beat Taito Ivasa, who's Gane's beat, but he beat them both quicker, but still. It was after Gane beat him, so I guess you can use that. But still Gane's only coming off one win, is what I'm getting at.
One contender, he's number 4. It doesn't make sense. I just want to go now. I did it already. It was a big risk against this wrestler. So now I don't want to have another risk. I want to take a risk for something, for a big deal. You see.
I don't understand that logic. You have to take risks to get to the title fight. You don't just get a title fight for beating Sergey Spivak. I don't understand. Did Ciryl Gane honestly think that him versus Sergey Spivak was a title eliminator? Because that's what I'm getting from this. I honestly think for something must have got missed in translation for Ciryl Gane, because there was no way he truly believes that him versus Sergey Spivak was for number one contender. And he says he wants to fight up from 1. Like, you're ranked number 1. You can't fight any higher. You're not getting a John Jones rematch. You got beat very handedly against John Jones. It wasn't even competitive. It went for like 2 minutes, and then you got taken down and subbed. There is no interest in a rematch between you and John Jones. You have to go and build up a resume. And they're not going to put you in the vacant title fight. It's rightfully Sergey Pavlovich versus Tom Aspinall if they do a vacant title fight.
And I'm gonna stay here for a long time. So we're gonna have time with Tom Aspinall for sure. We're gonna come. So no worries for the people. We're gonna do this fight. But now my fight is not this one. I just want the belt, and I want to go to the belt.
So what?
So yeah, to get the belt, you have to take on these guys. You're not getting a title fight off beating Sergey Spivak. Now, I get why he might think this is because, he beat Taito Ivasa, and he got 1 win, and then he got the title fight against John Jones. But that wasn't because you were the number 1 contender. That's because Ngannou left. John Jones was meant to fight Ngannou. John Jones has to be in the title fight. And then they thought, you're more marketable than Curtis Blades. So they put you in there instead of Curtis Blades. But Curtis Blades deserved that title fight. I mean, he ended up losing to Pavlovich, but still, he was the closest to a number 1 contender, but still. So then they do that fight. And then I guess now Ciryl Gane thinks he's just going to get unlimited title shots every time he wins one fight. Like, I don't like to talk badly about Ciryl Gane because he's a nice guy and I really do like him, but yeah, this just doesn't make too much sense for him, in my opinion. It's just, I don't know. I don't understand why Ciryl Gane's coming out with this. Like, why he thinks he's getting the next title shot. I really wish Ariel pushed back. Ariel pushed back on none of this. Ariel didn't say a thing saying, well, don't you think you have to win another one? He didn't say anything like that. He was just... He just let Ciryl Gane say whatever he wanted. You know, without pushback. He didn't... Like, it's not helping Ciryl Gane when you don't push back. Now Ciryl Gane's probably thinking that if he sits out, he's going to get a title fight, which he's not. Like, I don't know. I feel like very weird from Ariel Helwani not to say anything. You know, Ariel's normally very vocal with stuff like this, but he literally had nothing to say. It was really weird. You know, you rarely see... just really weird to see from Ariel Helwani here.
What do you say? You want to fight the winner of Jones and Stipe?
If it's possible. No matter who. Like anyone anywhere when I started my career, it was this. Anyone.
Anyone but Tom Aspinall and Sergey Pavlovich, though, it appears.
Anywhere. But now it's about the belt. Anyone anywhere.
Do you think that there's some talk that both of them are going to retire after their fight in November? Is that better for you? If John isn't the champion, is it better for you? Because no,
better. No, it's not better. If I get a chance to have a revenge to prove I can be better than the last time, that's good also.
Yeah,
you see, Stipe, that's good also. Is to test myself. That's good. I want to test myself. I don't want.
Wants to test himself, but not against Tom Aspinall or Sergey Pavlovich, though it appears. Like I don't get it. If you want to test yourself, you're not gonna get the win. You're not gonna get the title fight by just beating one guy. You're gonna have to go and test yourself against Tom Aspinall or Sergey Pavlovich. Or you know what's gonna happen? Dana White's gonna be like, you know what I feel. You know how I feel about kids sitting out. You know, he's gonna say something like that, and then he's gonna fucking book Ciryl Gane against 25-0 random guy off the fucking Chechen regional scene, Magomed Magomedov, Boz Magomed Magomedov, or some random, name like that, with a fucking 50-0 combat sambo career with all these accolades in sambo and all these grappling judo tournaments and wrestling tournaments. And he's going to book Ciryl Gane against him, because that's what's going to end up happening. He's going to get some massive fucking Chechen guy or Dagestani guy, somebody around that, region of the world, and he's going to give him to Ciryl Gane if he doesn't fight. Or realistically, he's going to get the winner of Curtis Blades or Jailton Almeida. That's what I reckon.
So way in an easy way. That's not my mind.
Well, you do want an easy way because you want the title fight after beating one guy in Sergey Spivak.
Yes, I want to go to the belt. I want to go to the short way. That's it.
About Tom, what about Sergey Pavlovich? Does he...
And then this is what he had to say about Sergey Pavlovich.
Interest you a little bit more than Tom? Or same thing, you want just to fight for the belt?
Fight for the belt. That's that.
I mean, that is a very stupid question from Ariel Helwani. Like, what does he expect Ciryl Gane to say to that question? Oh, do you want a dangerous guy who has 6 first-round knockouts in a row? He's beaten 2 guys in under 60 seconds. Or do you want to fight? Do you want to fight for the title? It's like, what the fuck do you expect him to say to that, Ariel Helwani? Such a stupid question. How are these people getting paid to cover this sport? One of the most stupid questions I've ever fucking heard. It'd be like saying to someone, what's like a good example? It'd be like, 2 years ago, 3 years ago when Khamzat Chimaev was unranked. It'd be like asking Leon Edwards. I know he did end up getting booked against Khamzat Chimaev. But it's asking him like, yeah, do you want to fight for the title next week, or would you rather fight this undefeated Chechen guy who's just running through everybody? It's like, what the fuck do you expect him to say? Nobody's going to say, give me the crazy, powerful, unranked guy who doesn't get me a title. I'd rather... obviously, you're going to take the title fight, so that's a really weird question from Ariel Helwani.
It's really different. You have Thomas Pinal more dangerous on the wrestling, and Pavlovich really dangerous, with his striking. So it's different. But both can do can do everything. Like Spinal is all stay really good on with his fist, and Pavlovich can wrestle. And both are really dangerous because you can see on the career on the record for both finish really quickly all of these fights. So really dangerous fighters. So no, no way there.
By the way, who do you think wins, Jones or Stipe?
So that's just weird as well. He says he doesn't want to fight them because they're both dangerous. It's like everybody's dangerous in the UFC, brother. It's heavyweight. Everybody's dangerous. It's the UFC. Everybody's dangerous. I just don't get it from Ciryl Gane. It's really weird mindset from him. Like he's not going to get the title fight. Like, you're not getting the next title shot, Ciryl Gane. I don't care how much you think you're going to get the title fight. You're not going to get the title fight. Maybe he thinks because Sean Strickland got a title fight after beating unranked Abus Magomedov that he's going to get the next title fight. But the only reason Sean Strickland got the title fight was because Israel Adesanya was meant to fight Dricus du Plessis. Dricus du Plessis gets injured. There's nobody who hasn't faced Adesanya outside of Sean Strickland in the top 6, top 5. So of course Sean Strickland's going to get the title fight. And then yeah, he won and became champion. But that is not Ciryl Gane, the status quo. That is not what normally happens. That is a very rare instance where beating a guy outside the rankings or somebody outside the top 5 gets you a title shot. That is not going to happen for you. And also, Sean Strickland was just very active. He took a fight against your teammate, Nazardine Amavov, on very short notice, on like 5 days' notice. Won that fight. Then he fights Abus Magomedov, unranked, everything to lose for Sean Strickland. And yeah, it paid off for Sean Strickland. But you sitting out is not going to pay off because you're not going out and being active. If you go out there and be active and beat all these guys, then yeah, you'll have an argument for the title fight. But it's not going to happen, man. It's not going to be you versus John Jones or Stipe Miocic. Even if they vacate, whoever wins that, if they retire and then vacate, you're not getting that fight either. You know that, right? Like if they retire, it's going to be Sergey Pavlovich versus either the winner of that fight, or it's going to be Sergey Pavlovich versus Tom Aspinall. That's it. That they're the only fights that make sense, in my opinion. Because they're not going to want to put a guy in who's already lost to John Jones, a guy who lost to Francis Ngannou. They're not going to want to put him in a vacant title fight because it's going to make Francis Ngannou look really good even though he's outside the UFC, or it's going to keep the shadow of John Jones around the division. They're going to want to put guys who haven't fought either John Jones or Francis Ngannou at the top of the division because then that cloud is not going to be over the division, That's why that is a big part of why they matchmake the way they do. Because they don't want guys outside the UFC or guys retired. They don't want that shadow to just hold over the UFC. It's why the UFC, when they did Charles Oliveira versus Michael Chandler for the vacant belt, that's why they had that fight. Because they didn't want a guy who had lost to Khabib Nurmagomedov. They didn't want his shadow to cloud over the division. And neither of them had fought Khabib, so it worked out really well for the UFC in that case. Charles Oliveira went on, had a really long run at the title, and then Islam Makhachev came in and took it. And he himself, he hadn't fought Khabib. They're teammates, they train together. You see, that is the logic the UFC use. They don't want retired guys or guys, even, especially they don't want someone who's lost to Francis Ngannou to fight for the belt. So Ciryl Gane has to go, and he will have to go for the ringer to earn that title shot. He's going to have to go for a murderer's row probably to get his next title shot. He's had 3 title fights. He's 1 and 2 in title fights, and that one win was an interim title fight against Derek Lewis. Derek Lewis went on a bit of a skid afterwards. Did beat Chris Dawkins, but then lost a bunch of fights after that. Rebounded, but still, he's not going to get the title shot. I really like Ciryl Gane, so it pains me to have to make a video about Ciryl Gane in this way, but he's just not going to get the title fight. No matter how much he thinks he's going to get the title fight, he's just going to be in limbo, not getting anything because nothing's going to happen. He's just going to be waiting and waiting because they're not going to fall to Ciryl Gane and say, please fight for the title, Ciryl Gane, please do it for us, Ciryl Gane, please. It's just not going to happen, man. It just won't. It's just not going to happen. So hopefully Ciryl Gane fixes his mindset for getting the next title shot, because it's going to be him versus Almeida or Blades next, realistically, and they're both really tough matchups for Ciryl Gane. You know, heavy grapplers. Blades is a really tough matchup because he's not just a grappler, he's not just a wrestler, he's also got heavy hands, good boxing. So he might be able to catch Ciryl Gane faking takedowns, you know. So that's a really tough matchup, you know. Tom Aspinall's also a really hard matchup for him, though, I would say. But still, it's not looking good for Ciryl Gane, if we're being honest. But I guess we'll see what happens. But yeah, it's not ideal circumstances by any means for Mr. Ciryl Gane here. So hopefully he fixes his priorities a little bit, because I like him and it would be cool for him to work his way back up to a title fight, but you're not gonna Dana White privilege your way to another title shot. You know, you got lucky to get that fight against John Jones, if we're being honest. Like, you got very lucky. Like, realistically, you shouldn't have got that title fight. So I'll just be grateful that I got that title fight, and then just work your way back to that title. But yeah, that's pretty much all I got to say. A bit annoying I had to redo this video because, I did like a 20-minute video earlier talking about all this. And then literally back to back I have to speak about this whole subject again. But I'll fix that issue. Obviously, I would have liked to have screen recorded this, but my audio was fucked for it. So, I had to do it this way. But thanks. If you made it this far into the video, though, I appreciate you for watching all this. Just hearing a crazy man rant about UFC. But I appreciate it. If you're not subscribed already, please subscribe, like this video. You know, let me know your thoughts in the comments if you think that this is going to pay off for Ciryl Gane, or if you think it's borderline delusional. But thanks for watching. I appreciate it, and catch you guys next time.